Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us for our weekly connection. We always love to connect through the wisdom. And that's why we call it a connection, because we tie ourselves to the light that is available every week through learning wisdom. Some of us, whatever comes, whatever the day is, that's what it is for them. For us, is whatever the wisdom and wherever the light wants to be revealed, that's where we want to make our connection. So obviously through the wisdom of Kabbalah, we're looking deep into obviously the message of the portion of the week. There's constantly there's many messages and many secrets. And every week we tend to share as many as we can, but obviously it's not possible in one class. But at least when you make the connection, it stays with you the whole week. How? By reminder, by action that related to what you learned specifically about this week. And I want to remind you the big frame is we are still in the month of Scorpio. And yesterday was the day of the flood. The 17th was the day where the flood of Noah was actually, break down the entire reality, which represent that even a flood of, let's put it this way, even good things, too much of good things are not good for you, right? Even physically, let's say you think, I'm going to eat only healthy. Even eat 2 pounds of kale is not healthy for you, right? Even something good, it's not coming with the right equipment or the right vessel for that. It will translate as wrong, negative, or even feels uncomfortable. So for us, from a Kabbalistic point of view, in the month of Scorpio, we know there is a flood of wisdom of the Creator that been poured to this world. It's represented by that flood, but we call it the light of wisdom. The Or, the Chokhmah, the wisdom of the Creator wants to be revealed to us, to all of us, so we will have a better, faster, and stronger life, an impact. And that's what the intention. So first is to understand what's available. Is still in the frame of the 4 weeks in the month of Scorpio. And the story that we learn is always geared to give us more tool to handle that of energy that needs to be revealed. So the wisdom build us a vessel for us to really understand deeper, to see deeper, and to connect. This last week, and week before, we spoke about the revelation of Abraham. Is the source that is activated the wisdom to our life in ways that no one in the world prior to him or even after him were able to do. After him, there's other Kabbalists who did other levels, but Abraham is the source. And once that appears, it's obviously not a coincidence why it's appeared in the month of Scorpio. Maybe he was a Scorpio, I don't know. Never thought about it. But what is the main idea that we want to connect this week? This week is the story goes around Sarah, his wife. Just an interesting idea, right? The whole portion named after Sarah. And you know what the story is about? Nothing to do with her. Not just nothing to do with it. It speaks about, and Sarah died in 127 years old. That's the extent of the portion. The whole portion. So many words, so many things, nothing to do with Sarah. It's about how Isaac find her son, find Rebecca, to his soulmate. It's about how Abraham had to deal with other things and how Isaac need to deal. Nothing to do with Sarah. Again, it's a secret that speaks about life of Sarah, but it's nothing to do with her life, but to do with her death, with her passing. So again, there's a key, there's a hint, there's a code that is being revealed to us. So let's start to understand what is the concept that in one hand you call it a portion or the connection to the month of Scorpio in this week is with the help of Sarah, but it doesn't speak about Sarah, only on her death. Now we're going to understand the power of the connection, what we can do more in this month. So the portion called Chayei Sarah, the lives, plural, right? It's called Chayei, it represents a plural life of Sarah, not singular life. It's called the lives of Sarah. What does it represent? First of all, when you hear the word lives, meaning two lives, she had double life. How is it possible, right? The message is for all of us. And again, we study a while and don't want to, there's so much more to explain in order to get to different points, but in this case, we don't have the amount of time to really go into all the details of what made it this way. But for all of us, there's two frames of life. In every given time, there's two life that we want to live in. Obviously, the physical life, but also the spiritual life. Most of us have what we call the upper world, or you call it your higher self. You know that most of the time we are not actively connected to our higher self, to our real spiritual self. Most of the time it's about the me, the needs, they go get it, they're doing this, they're doing that, you know. It's in the physical one. But we all know that there is the higher self of me, the higher me. And it's true, we all have it. But majority of us have zero connection to it. Almost like impossible to connect to your higher self. This week, we've been required obviously by the spiritual laws to really actively connect to our higher self. And it's important to awaken that because this is what's available. And this is what these individuals, this character, you call them a character, for us, they are conduit, they are chariot of energy that want to share with us so much more. The word Sarah is Sarah in English, right? But Sarah have the same meaning as the word minister. A minister of the government, right? A minister. So we know, obviously, we spoke about it in the time of Sukkot when we're sitting outside. Our job is also to know that we are feeding spiritual ministers. There is a spiritual minister that is almost like an advocate of a group of people, or families, or a city, right? Or a nation, or a group of people. They have an appointed spiritual minister that if negative thing was to come, that spiritual minister doing almost like the spiritual war. So it's not going to harm the physical people, right? The physical appearance over here. In order for me to become, and we all need to become that, spiritual minister, your spiritual minister, you become a spiritual minister that does what? That effect, that create a change, that influence the entire world, first of all spiritually, and then in the physical world. This is the key. I want to be, obviously, most of us are advocate to different things, right? Most of us wants to belong to something so we can advocate for that. Some of us, for our family, some of us for a business that we have, some of us to a group of people, some of us to spirituality, some of us to many things we want to advocate. Before you do that physically, it's important to understand the spiritual significance and the responsibility of awakening what we call the Sarah Memuneh, the minister that is in charge spiritually on helping us. I know even for a fact, the people who study Kabbalah, people who are actually connected to Kabbalah, there's few Kabbalists who are designated to be a minister to protect the people who spread the wisdom. They are assigned, they say, when they did it in the physical world, and then when they left, they become the spiritual minister who protect the people who are spreading the wisdom of Kabbalah specifically. Not just, maybe there's for other things, I don't know. But what I know from the Kabbalists, those of us who are busy and have intention and desire to be a channel for this wisdom or bring people closer to this wisdom, there are ministers that are assigned to protect you and to help you in that mission, or in that moment, or in that day, or in the hour or two. But it doesn't matter how long you do that. But for that, again, this is what in Kabbalah we learn many times, and I share with you. When you want to learn something, you learn the essence of things, and then you know the results of that. So obviously for us, the essence is the name of the portion. So you take the word Sarah, literally means Sarah, name of a person. But no, Sarah now you learn that is also meaning a minister. Right? Sarah is for a female, and Sar is for a male. Right? Sarah Memuneh or Sarah Memunah. Right? That's the idea. But also in the word Sarah, there is the word shirut, service. Right? Even a minister is from the word lesharet, to serve the people. I'm serving as a minister for the people. Minister is a sar, who mesharet, from the word shirut, from the word service. How do I become connected, or how can I become an advocate spiritually, if in this world I live a life of service? And when people live life of service, and real life of service, it's not about, getting credit for that, or getting, some attention of that. What is a true life of service for others? Not again, some of us, love doing it occasionally. Some of us got burned out by doing it. Some of us even started, it's not for me. Some of us will say, who should I serve? What should I do? Right? First of all, is the desire. Those of us who really doing it, know that you don't expect anything in this reality when you live life of service. And that is what Sarah and Abraham did. Sarah and Abraham, that's what they did. They designate their life in order for, like I spoke about last week with Abraham, cancel out anything I've done in my life. Again, I want to remind you, these are 90 years old people, 100 years old people. It's not people who live 20 years and it's easy to cancel what they've done. It's people who live life 90 or 100 years. And you tell them, no, stop what you've done. What you've done until now, it's really did nothing besides bringing chaos. Boom, move on in a different way. Cancel out. And now you're about to be life of service. Now again, when we say life of service, or being servant for the light, what does it mean? It means that when you, again, even if it's not all your life or all your day, but you need to designate time to be in service for others, for you to activate your spiritual minister, your spiritual minister that helps you, that supports you, and give you influence, right at the same time, in the spiritual world and in the physical world. It's hand in hand, it's a partnership. Because we all learn that everything that stems physically must start with the spiritual world. That's a truth that you cannot even avoid or even change. That's fact. How do I know that I'm doing real service? From Sarah. You have to find that you're really lowering yourself. Making yourself so small, like I spoke about bitul, like canceling out all my plan, all my ideas. But here is to cancel the self. Here in this time, I want to be in service for others. Cancel the self and only what the other person needs. This is real spiritual people. You have to get to that level. Even in the code, the word Sarah, right? You have the Shin and the Resh. Sar, you flip the letter, you get the word Rash. Rash is poor. You have to make yourself poor for the light. Most of us coming filled up with what we know and how we think, and therefore you're not lower, you're not humble. You cannot humble yourself if you know too much, or if you, meaning you're getting involved with what you know. I have to understand that I'm poor. I'm poor. Without the light of the Creator, I'm nobody. Most of us say, yeah, I'm still somebody. If you want to become somebody in this world, you have to know that you are nobody. You have to start from that place all the time, because otherwise it's really going to be used against you. Your wealth, look at what I've done, your success, your beauty, anything will use against you in a way that you're not going to be able to escape. You have to lower yourself in order to be in service for others. It's like I always give the example, if I'm a vessel and I want to serve, right? I need to lower myself so I can be filled, right? From the light of the Creator. But if I'm top and I know it all, the light of the Creator is not able to enter. I have to lower myself so I can be filled with the light of the Creator. So, if you understand that in order for me to activate my spiritual minister, my higher self, to work tirelessly, to protect, to provide, to create all what I wanted, I must be in service. And again, even if it's an hour a day, even if it's 5 hours a day, even if it's 5 hours a week, even if it's 1 hour a week, it doesn't matter. Do it right, do it strong, but do it with humility. Lower yourself, remove yourself for the sake of service for others. Again, last week we spoke about one level, now it's, with the help of Sarah, it's a complete different level, because why? Sarah, also the word Sarah is the word Shira, singing, poetry. It's like a song, it's happy. If somebody is in service for others and is almost miserable doing it, don't do it, you're not doing it right. I want to be so happy, I want to serve people with singing for them even. Even singing for people, by the way. There are people who are singing, right, or performing to others. They think that they perform, and they share and they get energy from that. Is great, beautiful, and people enjoying so much. That person needs to know that if they elevate themselves more and more spiritually, the people who listen to them get more of that light. But when I start just thinking that I'm performing for somebody, I didn't get it. First of all, anyone who perform for others, anyone who share with others, gotta be able to be in that service. This is the key. This is the key to unlock that light and that really impact. The impact can be unlocked only when you lower yourself, you do it with happiness, and you really completely remove yourself for the sake of others. Not because people looking at me, now I'm going to pretend I'm humble. It's when nobody look at you. It's when the Karen Berg, my teacher, always says, you see people going to retreat, going to this, and they can sit there and meditate for 2-3 hours. It's like, wow. The question that we always ask, what if people are not going to look at you? Are you going to still sit like that for 4 hours and not moving? It's about people looking at me, how spiritual I am. That's why I'm performing? Or I'm performing the same way when nobody looking at me? Am I praying or connecting or meditate that strong when nobody else, when everybody's there and we're pretending and we're jumping and making because of? Very important to test yourself if you're really in service for others, regardless of who is the watcher and who is the audience. And therefore, when somebody does it with happiness, they're doing it without even nobody know, without anybody sees. But there's another reality for Chayei Sarah. So you see the two lives of Sarah is been activated by her, by being in service, by really doing what she did in service for the world. In such humility, because there's many codes that we learn in the Torah, and I'll share with you maybe one or two of them. But there's another life that people live life with. It's called Chayei Sarah, which it's a different letter, but the same hearing. Sarah is Samech Resh Hei. For those of us who know, those of doesn't know, it's a Chayei Sarah is someone live life, complete rebellion against any spiritual thing. Any changes, they resist change. They think they okay, right? They always against. They always not connected. I'm not connected to this, and I'm not connected to these people, and I don't want to be part of a group, and I don't want to be this. Always negative. Chayei Sarah live life with complete negative. Or corruption. Always corruption. Always nothing is clean. Always like manipulative. You have sometimes people that come to you always sense, for those of you always sense their agenda. So some people are so obviously they want something from you. The agenda is so clear, right? This is what are we talking about? Complete lie. This is life that people live in this world. But when a person always live life, Chayei Sarah, it's not Sarah like we spoke about the name, Sarah, which is complete against. There's also two lives, but within this life. So they living double life in this life. They always live in a lie. One foot here, one foot there. They go to work, they are one person. They go to home, you see them completely different person. They talking to you one thing and it goes always double life. People who live life this way, they have double life in this world. Not two lives influenced spiritually. They always in the negative and they always get suggested, become a channel for evil in this world. Always lying to themselves, about themselves, and the story doesn't add up. Those sometimes people they tell you a story, it doesn't add up, the story, right? So why are they telling you this? People who live life this way, you can also identify that those people never take responsibility. It's them, it's the government. People who involve in politics and talk about politics, they are at risk of falling into this type of anger, right? Of this type of negativity. Because you cannot win in this world. So, when you recognize for yourself and for others, you have to understand sometimes when people don't take responsibility, it's because they lead their life in a certain way. That's why it's always the problem of the other person. It's always the problem of the banks. It's always the problem of the government. It's always my parents' faults. Right? These people, if you ask them, and if you ask yourself, what is your connection to the Creator? Oh, there's no God. There's no nothing. It's all a bunch of nonsense. These are people who are walking dead. So I'm sharing with you this because you don't want to affiliate with people like that for too long. You don't want to try to change them. By let them go. People who live life this way, better for them to be outside of your circle and let them earn that. Because otherwise it's not gonna change. These people not gonna change. You cannot let them be involved in your life if you want to live life of service. These are the people you don't serve. Okay? So I hope it's an important tool for all of us to understand that. The word sar, which is samech resh, to remove, lehasir. Sara is from the word lehasir. This is why these people always remove responsibility. No, never take. Always remove responsibility. No, it's not my responsibility. When every time you're not in service for others, and you live life with humility and decency, there is no Sarah. There's always a connection. But when people live life in Chayei Sarah, the life of rebellion, life of against everything and not connecting, not being part, I don't want to be part, I want to, distance myself. Eventually, these people, and you can mark my word, as you said. Every time a friend is in trouble, they will be the first one to escape. Or, I don't want to help. Why? Right away. No, I don't want. They're going to be the one who run away as soon as you get in trouble. Okay? And the same way people will do for them. As soon as they get in trouble, people will escape them. Right? This is the people. This is what Sarah is teaching us. When you live life without the connection to the spiritual realm, you're just playing a game. These people, no friend. They don't have friends. Acquaintance. They never really connect. There's no dedication. There's no loyalty. It's only for the one who will give me the higher price. La marbe b'mechir. The one who paid the most, I'm going to go. The one who have the most, I'm going to go there. This week, and again, specifically in the month of Scorpio, as I said, you got to really sit tight and really decide how I'm going to lead my life. In Kabbalah, we call it derech hahanaga. What type of leadership do I have? How do I conduct myself in this world? How do I conduct myself in business? How do I conduct myself with relationships or with intimacy or with my family? How? And you can check. If you're changing how you conduct yourself in different places, you're probably not really doing it right. Because you need to live by a set of tools and rules, and that fits all the circles of your life. And most of us are pick and choose what's right for us here and what's right for others, and adapt and adjust based on the people. In this way, my friend, you're going to get lost and you're going to fall down. Because what is Scorpio? It's the same thing of the people who live Chayei Sarah, the life of rebellion, life of against. This is Scorpio. They kill themselves and everybody around. Right? This is the idea. This is where you can fall. The way and the path of Sarah, according to the Zohar, is the path that lead for immortality. And this is what the Creator established with Sarah. If you live life and you completely remove yourself from the equation, you have a limitless power. And there's a code, there's a hint in this portion, because we learn, when you look at the portion, when you look at the reading, sometime in the Torah, there's 3 types of letters, sizes. Large, small, and the medium, the regular size of the letters. When it's larger word, is indication that the revelation of a deep observation of who we are and what we are. When it's small, it's called Bina consciousness. When it's smaller letter, it represents the world of Malchut, which represent the desire to receive that we have in this world, that represent a very small desire to receive. Even as big as your desire to receive, it's still small. It's so much smaller than what you think. How much our capacity to receive? Check how much you can eat, how much you can take pleasure, how much you can take joy. Very limited. Very limited. Small, insignificant, and we make it a big deal. Sarah is teaching us. Take your desire. If you're coming up with a desire to receive, it's a lose-lose situation. Sarah, like Abraham, she cancelled out what she want. What do I want? Oh, I want to see my son Isaac getting married. No. She wanted immortality, so she reduced herself to the level of ayin, to the level of nothing. And all what she became is a channel. Is a channel for limitless capacity to receive. That's why it's indication that in the time when she passed away, Avraham ulivkota, the letter chaf is small, to indicate how much when you come and I want for me, when I want for me, you don't understand how small it is. It's a joke. That's why when I share with you about the going to the life of service, is the life that can give you limitless opportunities. Why? Because the physical reality, as we call in Kabbalah, it's only 1 point or 0.0 or whatever 1% of the reality. It's not even 1%. It's not even 1%. Even scientifically, I don't need to prove it to you, that what you see in your eyes, it's not even 1% from the reality. And based on that, you're making decisions? Based on that, you think you're right? What do you do? If you're not activating your spiritual minister and get information from that, your higher self, most of the time you have the wrong information. Or at least a portion of information. Because that's what you can handle. Please understand. When you're thinking to receive for yourself alone, simply as you're thinking to receive for yourself alone, you are in a limitation, you are in a lose-lose situation. It's for sure going to be a lose-lose situation. Maybe it feels right now. But when you remove yourself, when you cancel the desire to receive for myself, but what about me? Take it down, cancel it. Wow. You are connected to, you become endless. You become an endless channel for the world, for your life, for everybody. But you have to levatel et haratzon ha'atzmi, to cancel the desire to the self alone. In any given moment, even, you know what I'll share with you? Another beautiful idea that you see in this portion. I shared earlier, Abraham sent his servant Eliezer to find a wife to Isaac. Obviously, the servant will go find a wife for my son, my holy son. You know, even his son Isaac had to cancel himself and says, okay, the servant will go and find a wife for me. I can imagine you sending someone to do interview with dates to you, right? It makes no sense. You know, I want to see, I want to check, I want to see. Here, cancel what I think, Abraham. Send the servant. Isaac, no, but what, I want to know if I like her or not. No, cancel what you think. Let him go. Eliezer had an agenda, had a desire to receive for himself there. He had to cancel it also. Why? Because he had a hidden desire that Isaac will marry his daughter, the daughter of Eliezer. So he had to also cancel himself. And then, that's why we know, because his name was not mentioned, they call it Eved Avraham. They didn't call Eliezer, they call him the servant of Avraham, to indicate that he removed himself. Like I spoke, you remember last week about Avraham, Vehu Yoshev, or Elav, the him, or to him, who is him, right? He was cancelled himself. So obviously, in this portion as well, it speaks about Sarah, but only one word about Sarah. Sarah died Bekiryat Arba. That's the whole story of Sarah. And the whole portion speaks about something completely different. And it's under her name, Sarah. So her not present in this portion made it completely, because she removed herself, made it completely revelation and revolutions of immortality. That's what it was revealed. So again, when you are mixed, when you involve yourself into things, certainly there's a lose-lose. I want to share with you one word from Rav Ashlag of Chayei Sarah, what he says about what I'm trying to share with you, but it's important to connect to the essence of that. לפיכך הטביע הבורא יתברך יסורים קשים ומרים. The creator of this reality planted tremendous pain and suffering, bitterness, בעניין הקבלה לעצמו הטבוע באדם מעת לידתו. You have to understand that is the creator doesn't want you to be satiated or satisfied? Of course, yes. But never just for you. Every time I just take for me, whenever I receive for me, it's embedded in it tremendous suffering and pain and lack of fulfillment. Even though you got the food right now, but he's going to have a stomach ache for the whole night. Even though you got the relationship, but you're going to have a witch or a negative guy in your life for years. But I got what I want. I got the wedding I want. Yes. And then suffering. Very important. Many people think, oh, I'm going to be busy getting the body that I want. Me, I want the body that I want, the six-pack, the this, the that. Great. And suffering is involved in it because it's for yourself. Again, hen machovim gufaniyim v'nafshiyim, even physically and mentally. It's tremendous suffering when you live life only for me, me, me. Last point I want to share with you, because to awaken that idea, when you too involve in your thoughts, my desires, you are not a channel. Think for a second. Do you think, listen, I wrote a few points. Do you think I'm thinking about what I'm talking? How do I think and talk in the same time? How is it possible? Think about it for a second, my friend. Those of you who are doing it all day, how do I think? Oh, I have to think about it and then imagine I would have to pause every word, think about the word and then say it. Impossible. So we don't have our own thoughts, my dear. You have to understand, you don't think your own thoughts. The only thing you can dictate is where is your consciousness. Where is your consciousness, and you stick to it, and then thought starts to pull down to that device and provide the thoughts and the words that needed for that particular concept. So for me, I'm telling you what I do, what the Kabbalists share to do. You have to dictate what consciousness you have. But I don't really control my thoughts. I said, okay, this thought is not for this. Okay, you can sort it out. But when you dictate what the consciousness, the result is the thoughts. But the cause is the consciousness. Where is your mind? Where is your head? That's where thoughts come. I don't know, I have a negative thought. I'm bombarded with negative thoughts. Of course, because you are in a negative consciousness. It's very simple. When you're in consciousness of sharing, when you're in consciousness of service for others, and you're in consciousness of what we just shared right now, what thoughts comes to you? What words comes to you? Not your words. It's not my words. I don't think before I said the word. Think about it. Even if I can write everything. Still, it's not the same way. It doesn't come out the same way. Most of us are in conflicted mind. In one hand, I want to do good. In one hand, I love the person. In the other hand, I'm thinking negative about him. How is it possible? In one hand, I love my boss, but then I have something to say about him. In my mind, I'm always thinking negative about him. I love my boyfriend, my girlfriend, but I'm not sure about them. Always conflicts, right? I want to do it, but I'm not sure it's going to be successful, so I'm waiting. All kind of this. This is the part that we need to change. Think about it. In this week, Eliezer, the servant of Abraham, comes to look for Rebecca. And then he came with Rebecca, Rivka, he came with her to her father, right? It's Lavan. His name is Laban, right? Which is the word white. Represent white, and white represent clean and this, but we know it's not. He was very much with his ego, right? How do we know? As soon as Eliezer offered him, and he saw that he gave Rebecca a gold chain and a gold and silver jewelries, all of a sudden, wait a sec, he became the best servant. Went and brought the cattle and hosted him and tell me more about your master, Abraham. How much money he have? Where does he live? So he was in service, but he's in his mind of Lavan. It's he was an amazing servant. Right? In service for Eliezer and the cattle, and he brought the camels and they feed them and everything is good. But I know what I'm going to get out of it. That was his intention. I'm going to get so much money out of it, and they're going to pay for my daughter so much money, I want those people, right? It was all agenda. It was clear that that's the person how he operates. So most of us can be in service, but what I'm going to get and who I'm going to be connected to. That's why people do it. And that's important to completely eliminate it. So, I'm going to leave you with that. But remember, this is the concept that we can activate this week. And what Scorpio wants us to wake up is to wake up the real you, the real minister that take responsibility on the world. Take responsibility for any negativity that created and changed and influenced people from a spiritual place without anybody sees you and you're pretending the spiritual title that you have, and being the spiritual person that you can be, that you are. But you have to activate it in this world. The way to activate it in this world, be in service for others, without the desire to receive for myself alone. You have to cancel the desire to receive for the self alone. And it's not something that someone can check in a box. It's in the moment. It's inside. And second point we spoke about, that if you want to control what you want to say and the thought that comes to you, you got to work on dictate what consciousness do I have and how do I manhig. What the way, the path that I conduct myself. And can it be in every area? Not when I come to the spiritual group and become spiritual. I'm putting the title, and I'm checked out in the door. It's everywhere, all the time. So I'm going to leave you with that. Please share it as much as you can. Inspire people as much as you can. And I wish you an amazing rest of the month.